Hey y'all. It's me again. So, for like the last, I want to say the last 2 or 3 weeks, I have been hearing ego death, like just ego death, right? And I thought, okay, what are you saying to me, God? Like, what about the ego death? I kind of feel like I was already going through an ego death a little bit. And it was only until today that things started to click for me. And my thought was, or the message that I received was, there's a scripture about renewing your mind every day, starting over, every single day, right? And I believe that the church has completely forgotten about the ego death. If you are a reader, perhaps you've read Joseph Campbell's A Hero's Journey, where he talks about the ego death in there. But really, an ego death is basically completely losing your psyche and submitting to something different, something higher, right? The ego death should be, a lot of people experience that when they are going through a dark night of the soul, or in some spiritualists they call it a tower moment, or whatever that case may be. But the ego, the ego will never go away. Okay, it will never go away. It's gonna always be here with us, right? The challenge is to manage the ego. The challenge is to keep the ego under subjection. And an ego death is usually when people start to, when you look up and somebody is completely new. They're not who you thought they were, right? They awaken themselves. They get closer to God. They get closer to source. They get closer to spirit. They get closer to whatever it is that you believe in terms of your higher power. But that's typically what the ego death is, right? And I think that we have gotten, as a community of humans, so far away from the ego death and the renewing of our minds. Like, we've gotten so far from realizing that we are supposed to submit ourselves daily, every single day, to something higher, to a higher call, to a higher purpose, right? You're supposed to take that ego, put it to the side, or allow the higher purpose, the higher calling, the higher being to submit, or you submit to the higher being, and you completely lose yourself in what it is that is your soul's work, what it is that is assigned for you to do. As I'm on my own journey with the ego death, every day I find myself like, Lord, what is it that you want from me today? If it is, and I am completely in a space in my life where I'm always manifesting. I always am on to the next thing, right? So I don't sit anywhere too long. I don't sit in grief too long. I can't sit in pain too long. I have to keep moving because I realize that I have a bigger purpose. I know what my purpose is. But because I know what my purpose is, it is a bit blasphemous to sit on the purpose. It is a bit blasphemous to deny the purpose, right? And so as I have been manifesting the next phase of my life and what that looks like, listen, I was one of those people that said I will never get married again. If ever I get a divorce, I ain't never doing this again. And I'm finding that that is a lie. I want to be married again. There are so many things that I want to achieve as a married woman. I'm not a girlfriend. I am a wife. I am not a girlfriend, honey. I don't do side piece well. I am 100% a committer, right? Whatever it is that I decide that I am in tune with, I go full force or I don't go, right? And as it relates to the ego death, I realize that the parts of us have to continue to die. Parts of the ego have to continue to die in order to serve the higher purpose, in order to answer the call, in order to hear the knock, whatever that means to you, whatever that means to any of us, right? But let me give you your second writing prompt. Prompt 2. What is the thing that's holding you back from serving your highest purpose? What's the thing? What does it look like? What does it smell like? What does it feel like? What is the thing that is keeping you on the fence about moving into the next phase of your life? What is it? Is it fear? Because fear is the enemy. Fear is the oppressor. Okay? You can't be afraid and be a world changer. You can't be afraid and say that you have a higher purpose. No, you have to put fear to the side, right? So what is the thing that is keeping you from truly moving into being the higher person, being your higher self? Is it weight loss? Is it hair? What is the thing? Identify the thing. Make a list. 10 things that you need to do in order to have a full ego death every day. What do I need to do every single day to ensure that I am offering myself up to the higher power, my higher self, in order to fulfill my life's purpose? What is that? All right. That's one side of the paper. Flip the paper over on the other side. In 2025, what are you going to do to ensure that you are continuing that ego death? People get it mistakenly wrong that you only have one in life. And I think that what the Lord is revealing to me is every day, tying that scripture of dying daily. Every day you've got to die. That death, the ego. I think the church has gotten so haughty with who is the hottest bishop, who is the flyest evangelist, who has the best membership, who's on what conference, this, that, and that. And there's so much ego in there. It's like, yo, the heads are so big. Yeah. And I don't think that ain't what the Lord has called us to. It ain't. It ain't, because that is the very thing that runs people out of the doors. Once there is so much ego in the room, it's almost as if you cannot get any oxygen. You can't get any oxygen for people wanting to talk over each other. You know what I'm saying? So, and this isn't to bash any one particular group. This is for us as a collective. How are we dying daily? How are we being renewed every day? Does that look like waking up in prayer? Does that look like getting close to the water? How is it that we submit ourselves to something higher every single day? Not what we knew the day before. Because in an ego death, it's a complete death of the psyche. It's almost as if the things that you used to think are foreign. They become completely old. they pass away, right? But it's up to us to ensure that we are serving the higher purpose. We are doing the work that we're supposed to do, whether that is for God, whether that is for darker energies, whatever your assignment is. What are you doing every day to ensure that you are on track? All right, let's review the writing prompt. Page 1. What do I need to do every day to ensure that I am having an ego death, that I am waking up renewed, that I am submitting myself to the higher power every single day, that my haughtiness I'm putting to the side, and I am simply saying, all right, what's the assignment for me today? What is it for me today? Okay, next page, 2025. What do I need to get there? What does that look like in 2025? And the reason, you'll notice I'm always looking towards the future, because if you sit and wait here so long, you will forget all the things that are going ahead, all the blessings and all the wonderful things you see ahead that are ahead. You won't see them. And if you don't pay attention to what's coming ahead, you might run into a truck or a wall or a bad relationship or financial issues, bad health. You see where I'm going here? 2025. What is it that I want to be doing to serve my highest self? And how do I get there? Love y'all.